Who is your favorite Chicago Bulls player of all time? I went to Twitter and asked. Now I want to show you some of the replies and give you my reactions to some of these players. I'm Russ, this is Artur's Fan Club, and if you're not subscribed, right now is the best time to do it. The best time to do it was before this video started. The second best time to do it is right now, because once again, we are making Bulls content every single day. Your subscription helps me a lot, helps me make more of these videos, so if you like them, I appreciate the support. I wanted to talk about the tweet I sent out last week. I asked Twitter, who is your favorite player in Chicago Bulls history? Now, fan favorite is kind of a vague term. What I meant by it and what I wanted people to get out of it is the guys, not like the Derrick Roses, the superstars. Like Jimmy Butler was our star for a while. Derrick Rose was our superstar for a while. You know, Michael Jordan, obviously. Like, I wanted to get away from those guys and I wanted to go to players who maybe weren't the best, but that we just have very fond memories of. We love watching their highlights. We love talking about them. We love waxing nostalgia about these players that, you know, find a way into our hearts like that. So my submission was Nate Robinson, who, once again, he wasn't the flashiest. Well, actually, he was very flashy, but he wasn't necessarily the best point guard ever. He wasn't necessarily the best three-point shooter. He wasn't necessarily the answer at point guard for us, but he still gave us a ton of great memories, including that Brooklyn Nets series where he went to overtime. I could go on and on about Nate Robinson, how much I love that guy. But let's get into some of the replies that we got out there from the rest of Bulls Twitter, because it's interesting. I like taking a look at these, and I like giving you my personal memories of these players and my reactions to what people had to say. So let's take a look here. So here's my tweet. I sent it out last week. You can see I had Nate Robinson, and right off the top, my guy King Levine, Captain Kirk. Oh yeah, gotta have Captain Kirk on here. Kirk Heinrich was probably my close second to Nate Robinson. Seemed to like these like scrappy point guards. I mean, Captain Kirk, like Kirk Heinrich, I fell in love with the Bulls watching Kirk Heinrich and Ben Gordon before Derrick Rose was ever on the team. So like, to me, Kirk Heinrich was like, he's a Bulls legend. I don't know if people agree with that out there, but I think Kirk Heinrich should be considered a Chicago Bulls legend. I mean, I think he has a bunch of records for like three-pointers for us, which I'm sure Zach LaVine will probably end up surpassing at one point. But Kirk Heinrich was like, he was the model of consistency. He was always on time. He was always the guy to set up the offense, and he played really, really scrappy defense. Just a professional. So Captain Kirk, a Bulls legend, someone who I admire a lot and always had fun watching him. My favorite Kirk Heinrich memory, this is probably my favorite memory. They went back to Denver and Kirk Heinrich locked up Nate Robinson, and Nate Robinson wasn't having it. And this photo is just so funny. Obviously they were teammates. They know each other very well. And this was the first season, I believe, after Nate Robinson left the Bulls. Just a really funny photo. So the next one is Joakim Noah. It's Joakim Noah. Of course it's Joakim Noah. And I think Joakim Noah does fit this question as a fan favorite, because he was. I mean, he was, after Derrick Rose had those injuries, after we were so low and felt like we were going nowhere, Joakim was our guy. Like, Joakim was the focal point. He was the center, literally and figuratively, of everything that we did. You know, he was our defensive anchor. He played a point forward kind of role. He passed the ball. He distributed the offense. He was an MVP candidate. He won Defensive Player of the Year. Like, Joakim, I feel like people today, they know Joakim Noah as the guy who finessed the Knicks out of millions of dollars and whatever. Joakim Noah was a great player. And once again, when I say legend, he is a Bulls legend. Like, Joakim Noah is a guy who, if the Bulls decided to retire his number, I would be very happy about that. I don't know if Kirk Heinrich did enough in his career to warrant that, but Joakim Noah absolutely did, in my personal opinion. It's Joakim Noah, man. Like, what else can you say? Like, if you're not a Bulls fan, if you didn't watch those teams, I don't know if you fully understand. I mean, I think some people do, because like a lot of like Miami Heat fans might remember how good Joakim Noah was. Those battles with LeBron. Obviously, LeBron won most of them, all of them, except in the regular season. But Joakim Noah was the guy who stood up to LeBron and, you know, would put him through the ringer through a lot of challenging games. Joakim Noah was a battler, man. He was absolutely a warrior. So I love Joakim Noah. My favorite Joakim Noah memory is probably the steal and dunk on the Celtics in the playoffs in 2008 on Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce gets fouled out. I mean, that whole series is just insane. Once again, I encourage you, if you've never watched it before, go on YouTube, search up Bulls Celtics playoffs 08, go watch the entire series. Bulls didn't come out on top in the end, unfortunately, but we're talking like multiple overtime games that went into multiple overtimes, a full 7-game series. The Bulls went toe-to-toe with the championship Celtics. That series was nuts. So that big dunk, poster dunk that Joakim had on Paul Pierce, that's probably, my favorite Joakim Noah memory. It's either that or him talking shit about Cleveland, which is pretty fun too. Let's move on. Felicio, I don't know if I'm going to give this any attention. My favorite Felicio memory is him stealing the rebound from Dwayne Wade, so Dwayne Wade didn't get his triple-double, because Dwayne Wade, the whole thing was stupid. Why do you care that much? Get over it. It's not important. Taji Woo. Yes, sir. Taj Gibson is a Bulls semi-legend. I don't want to put him all the way up at legend, but he is definitely in the hall of very good for the Chicago Bulls. He was a great role player. He did his job, and then when we asked him to start, he filled in very well. Once again, just very gritty. Stacey King would say hard hat, lunch pail kind of guy. Just the Bulls back then were full of guys like this. So it hurts my heart a little bit that we're waxing so nostalgic about these guys who they're still in the league. Like Taj Gibson's still performing at a pretty high level in the NBA. My favorite Taj Gibson memory is probably the two dunks that he had in the playoffs against the Miami Heat, which set up the series for what I thought was going to be a big W for the Bulls. And it ended up not being, for other reasons, not Taj Gibson's fault, but he had that putback dunk and then he had that poster dunk. Let's see if we can find the poster. I'd give you guys videos, but then I'm going to get demonetized. Here it is. Yes, the big poster on D Wade. That was incredible. Once again, I encourage you, if you've never seen it, to go look it up on YouTube. Because look at, just give you that little clip. That's how hyped we were. It was insane. It was nuts. It was crazy. I wish I could have been at the United Center for that game. Taj Gibson, a Hall of Very Good player. Luol Deng, here we go. See, we're just going through the early 2010 Bulls. That's basically what we're going to do in this video. Luol Deng, my favorite Luol Deng memory. This one's kind of obscure, and my memory might be fuzzy, so excuse me if I'm wrong about this. I believe my favorite Luol Deng memory is him hitting a three-pointer to beat the Heat. I believe it was to sweep the Heat in the first season that LeBron went to Miami. It was either the first game or it was the series sweep on the season. It was one of the two. But I just remember him hitting that wide open three. It was a pass from D Rose, and it was like Mike Breen bang. It was one of those moments of holy shit, the Bulls are going to win this game. Because we had so much hatred for Miami that season. We wanted so badly to make them look silly, and we did in the regular season. We actually did. So I believe it was probably the first game. It was at the United Center. I know that much. So it was probably the first game that we played against the Heat that season, and it felt great to get that victory. I'll never forget that three-pointer. Unfortunately, I've forgotten which game it came in, but I'll never forget the play itself. We covered Joakim Noah. By the way, Luol Deng too, I should point out, another guy who, gritty, played a lot of defense. Another favorite memory of mine wasn't even in a game. It was him showing up to the Olympics, or I'm sorry, not the Olympics, to the All-Star game. And, I don't know if you guys know Luol Deng's backstory, but he fled South Sudan during the Civil War, and he ended up going to Great Britain. He played for them in the Olympics. But when he made it to the All-Star game, forget which year it was, he showed up wearing a shirt with Africa on it. And I just thought that was really awesome. The representation that he was giving back to his home continent. I believe there might have been something about South Sudan involved too, but just a really upstanding person, a great guy. So shout out Luol Deng. We covered Nate. Oh, okay. Thad Young, Ryan Archidiakono. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we can get into the guys currently on the roster. Everyone's open seat. Like, this is everyone's game. Like, we can discuss anybody. Thad Young, man, it's all still fresh in my memory. I'm trying to think of like a favorite Thad Young moment. It might have been the post-game press conference with Stacey King and Adam Amin when he had that big cheesy smile on his face. He almost had that triple-double. It might be that, because I just remember being so hyped for our guy after that game. But he's had a bunch of good moments with like just this past season. It's hard to pick because like the season was kind of disappointing, if I'm being realistic about it. And same thing with Archie. Like, he's had some big 3-pointers. He's had some great plays like here and there, but it's like, I don't know. When we're talking about like guys like Taj Gibson and Luol Deng and Joakim Noah, like they reached heights that these guys have not reached. And in my mind, it's just not there, it doesn't stick in my mind the same way. Nate Robinson, Nazr Mohammed. Let's talk about, by the way, Nate Robinson's block on LeBron is another great moment. Nazr Mohammed. So my favorite, where this is going. My favorite Nazr Mohammed moment is when he pushes LeBron to the floor at the United Center. I think LeBron had committed like a hard foul or something. I don't remember what it was. Maybe he was talking shit. He did something to piss him off, and Nazr was just like, "Nah, fuck this," and he fucking shoves LeBron down to the court. It was awesome. It got us all out of our seats. That was awesome. Dennis Rodman is another guy that's like, I mean, yeah, Dennis Rodman counts as a fan favorite because he wasn't like a Bulls legend necessarily for the long term. He was only there for a few years. Obviously won while he was there, but yeah, I mean, Rodman counts. My favorite Dennis Rodman moment is him just randomly going on that 3-point shooting barrage. It's like just out of nowhere. There's so many Dennis Rodman moments, bro. Like you could put a bunch of Dennis Rodman moments in a hat and just pick one out. He's an off the court guy too, where it's like your favorite moment could be him, an interview he did or something he did wacky in the news. It doesn't have to be a basketball moment necessarily. But he had a ton of great plays. Obviously, I wasn't around in the 90s. I'm going off highlights, but yeah. Nate Robinson, Nazr Mohammed, Kirk, Heinrich, we've done these guys. Carmelo, we're not talking about that. Nocioni, absolutely, another guy from the Kirk, Heinrich, Ben Gordon era. Man, I haven't heard Nocioni's name in a long time. Man, you're bringing me back a trip down memory lane here. Look at the Kirk Heinrich block. Yeah, man, those teams were special, and they weren't the best. And I'm surprised I haven't seen Ben Gordon's name yet. They weren't the best, but they were special and they were a lot of fun to watch. Shout out Andres Nocioni. Nocioni. Haven't heard his name in a hot minute. Hope he's doing well somewhere, wherever he is. Walt Lemon Jr. Hey, there's a guy. Fan favorite for sure. He was cold, bro. The dude modeled his game after Derrick Rose, ended up playing for the Chicago Bulls, and reminded us of Derrick Rose. Like, that's what he did. Now, realistically, we can be, well, Lemon Jr. was not a great player necessarily, but he was a lot of fun to watch. And he had those flashy layups. Speedy guy, strong. I liked him. I wanted the Bulls to keep him. I was really sad when we let him go. So shout out Walt Lemon Jr. I hope he's doing well somewhere too. I know that dude can ball. Like, he could hoop. So I'm sure he's out there somewhere hooping, because I know he's still got it. We already talked about these guys. We're kind of running down the same list here. But shout out DJ Augustine. There's another name. DJ Augustine was another guy like Walt Lemon Jr. who kind of reminded us of Derrick Rose for like a minute while we were sad because he was gone. And DJ Augustine came in while D Rose was injured, but DJ Augustine was another in the long line of point guards that Thibodeau like turned into point gods for short periods of time. There was a long list of guys like that, but DJ Augustine was probably the best of them. Yeah, shout out DJ Augustine. He was really, really good for the Bulls. Once again, another guy that I wish we had kept. But yeah, I think we've kind of hit them all here at this point. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I love doing these kind of videos where we go through some classic Bulls memories. We could do more of these in the future. Just look for tweets when I put out like, you know, what's your favorite memory? What's your favorite this? What's your favorite that? Because I will be the guy to tweet it and then we'll react to them. So thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Once again, it tells me what you guys like to see and what you don't like to see. So if you hate this video, hit the dislike button, then I'll know. So thanks again, guys, and we will talk very soon.